Hello? The human body contains about 4 to 5 liters of blood, and this amount naturally varies depending on body weight and age. In case someone experiences severe bleeding, the body starts withdrawing blood from non-vital organs, which are the organs that if they died or were removed, we could live without them. This is to supply blood to the vital organs that we cannot live without, like the brain, heart, lungs, liver, and kidneys. But if this person continues to bleed and loses more than 2 liters of blood, they are supposed to go into shock, and the vital organs start to deteriorate and die. But God created an organ in the body called the spleen. This organ stores about half a liter of blood and releases it in emergency situations, just to give this person a second chance or more time. Maybe someone can stop that bleeding and save their life. We have 2 types of bleeding: internal bleeding and external bleeding. Internal bleeding is the bleeding we cannot see with our eyes, like brain bleeding and pelvic bleeding and bleeding then the intestines. Any type of bleeding that occurs inside the body, we call it internal bleeding. And this type of bleeding you won't be able to handle. You must take the person to the hospital immediately so they can perform scans and start giving them the appropriate medications or admit them to the room. The second type of bleeding is external bleeding that we can see with our eyes. Like if a person is cut by glass or a knife or anything that causes an external wound. This is the type of bleeding you can handle and provide first aid for. Number 1. You apply direct pressure to the bleeding site. You can press with sterile gauze, cloth, or even your own clothes. If you can't find any of these, press with your hand. If there's a piece of glass or knife embedded in the wound, leave it as it is and wrap the gauze or cloth around it. Then apply pressure to stop the bleeding. Stop. And if the cloth you are pressing with gets soaked or filled with blood, don't change it and don't try to lift it. Bring another piece of gauze, place it over the first one and press firmly. Number 2, lay the patient on the ground and try to calm them. Reassure him and raise the bleeding area upwards. This helps gravity assist in stopping the bleeding. Number 4, apply a tourniquet or gloves or even a piece of cloth above the bleeding area by about 10 centimeter. You only take this step if the bleeding is severe and you can't stop it. The last step is to cover the patient if the weather is cold, because their extremities will get cold if they lose a lot of blood. Call the ambulance or take the patient yourself to the hospital. And at the hospital, they put the patient on IV fluids to compensate for the blood lost. If the bleeding is severe, they may add to the IV medications that help stop the bleeding, the doctor evaluates the wound to see if it will be stitched in the emergency room or if surgery is necessary in case large veins or arteries are cut.